Hello and welcome back to what is going to be the penultimate episode of this series of the Great British Sitcom. As ever, it's the show in which we watch sitcoms of comedy past to see if they stood the test of time. I'm Mark. I'm joined by Chris Woods.
Hello.
And Chris Jones.
Hi.
So this week we're going to be watching Waiting for God. And Waiting for God was a series produced by the BBC, released on January 28th, 1990. Series starring Graham Crowden, who featured in For Your Eyes Only as First Sea Lord, and Stephanie Cole, who most recently stars as Mrs. Featherstone in Still Open All Hours, the comedy sequel to Open All Hours that stars David Jason reprising the role of Granville. Do you guys know anything at all about Waiting for God?
No.
Me neither. So I've never seen this or heard of it. I think one of our hopefully listeners suggested this. Bought it on a DVD from eBay for about £3. Since found it on YouTube. So that's money well spent.
You've got to think of that as an investment.
Yeah, for who? I don't know.
Just whatever children you have.
For children I have.
Yeah, it's like an heirloom, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could sign it, could competition.
Hey, I'm good for that.
That's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So you can win. We'll sign this, and you can win this if you want. Suggest when we play the game later, play the game online with us on our social media networks, and you can win this as a prize. There we go. That was easy. The synopsis from IMDb about Waiting for God reads: When Tom Ballard moves to Bayview Retirement Village, he meets Diana Trent, a feisty old woman who complains about everything and wants nothing more than just to die. Much to the dislike of Harvey Baines, the head of the home, the two form a friendship and eventually a romance, helping each other out of tight situations. Tom's son, Jeffrey, and daughter-in-law, Marion, whom Tom doesn't particularly like, are consistently stopping in, and Jane, a worker at the home, is Diana's worst nightmare, being constantly cheerful. Together, though, Tom and Diana make it together while they are waiting for God. Ran for 5 series for 47 episodes, including 2 specials, and has an average rating of, you'll never guess, 7.8 out of 10.
Amazing. According to, it came 37th in a poll for Britain's best sitcom.
Really?
So that's
how many? 50?
Quite high, really. Broke top
Out of
50.
30.
Out of 36.
That's almost... I mean, that's almost as good as your rankings for mini golf, as we found out last week.
Category 1.
Okay, so seeing as we don't know much about Waiting for God, should we just dive straight into this one?
Which episode are we going to watch?
I don't think we picked, actually. So I think we got it down to 3. Me and Wood sort of looked at this first of all and come up with 3, and then James looked at it afterwards and also...
Independently of the other 2?
Yeah, independently looked at the other 3 as well. So we had one where a partition is erected, one about the Clapham Strangler. Was that the next one?
No, there was that one, and then there was
Glamorous Granny. Glamorous Granny, thank you. Yeah,
as well, I think.
And the other one was like a fracas on the lawn, I believe was the phrase. Any of them stand out for you guys?
No.
I'm pretty sure it's just the name of the episode, isn't it?
I mean, it sounds like it's the...
yeah, just uninterested and really short as well. Just good or no. That's your catchphrases.
I think Glamorous Granny sounds too broad.
Okay.
I'm going to go partition or fracas on the
croquet lawn. On the croquet lawn.
I'm edging towards the fracas, yeah.
I'd love to see this fracas.
Should we see
any fracas that involves croquet?
All right, let's see the fracas.
Is it because it's a game that's quite similar to mini golf?
No.
There's nothing alike.
Catchphrase again.
Can you get some t-shirts printed with just no written on it?
Merchandise, yeah, you're thinking well ahead now. I'm loving it. Oh, so episode 8, loathsome Bayview manager Harvey's attempts to cut costs even further lead to chaos and a fracas on the croquet lawn. Is it fracas or fracas? It's fracas.
I've been saying fracas because I'm pretentious, but I don't know if it's fracas or fracas.
I don't know. Fracas.
Well, let's call it both. So we're going to be watching episode 8, which on this doesn't have a name, but on YouTube I'm sure that it does. So yeah, episode 8 of Waiting for God. So we just watched. Was it episode 8?
Who cares?
So yeah, we didn't know what the names of the episodes were before we started, and when we paused to watch the episode, we then realised it was called Foreign Workers. We watched it.
It was a red flag. Alarm bells were ringing when we saw that.
Yeah, I thought it would be like, I don't think ironic's the right word, but I thought it would be funny to do that knowingly, and it really wasn't. Like, within seconds, it was just. Was she doing a French accent at first to Antonio?
Something like that.
It was kind of a jumble of languages. She was sort of
Was
speaking
it?
French and English and other languages too. I think it was a Portuguese gardener.
I mean, let's be fair. It started out as it continued. It
Yeah,
it
jumbled.
wasn't a peak, wasn't a trough.
Early, yeah.
It was. I mean, it was called Waiting for God, and I spent the entirety of the episode doing so.
Accurate, unfortunately accurate. Yeah, the premise of this actual episode was.
So set in a retirement home.
Yeah, we've not even covered that, have we? Yeah, it's two elderly
Yeah.
people set in a retirement
in
home.
Bournemouth.
Is it Bournemouth?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right, then Bournemouth.
So, did you know that from the area and the local flora and fauna?
From the flora and fauna, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
sort of deciduous trees mainly, and really gave away somewhere on the south coast. Sort of
Oh, okay.
anywhere between Bournemouth and Plymouth.
Cool. So somewhere between Plymouth. We'll
Plymouth.
call it Plymouth. Yeah,
That's what we call
didn't
it.
mean to say that.
That's what the locals call it.
Plymouth. Yeah, and the guy of the two wants to be healthy because he's been told by his what they believe to be a guru that he can live for longer, and then the woman in the series is like not in belief of that. She
Did we
follows
get
him.
names in this at all?
Tom is
care
Tom the old
enough.
guy.
Tom and Diana.
Tom and Diana.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, the premise of like the whole series, and like I'm guessing because this ran for like 5 series, isn't it? Apparently.
yeah, 4 years,
is
5.
47 episodes, if I
It's
remember rightly.
retirement home. There's a guy who's running it who's a bit of a knob and trying to cut costs at every point.
Harvey.
The problem is that we'll go into this. He's not. Everyone is a knob in this.
Everyone is a knob. Like it's like the two grumpy. I mean, the guy Tom isn't. He's all right.
He's a
No
bit,
one's
he's a bit
irredeemable.
dopey.
Like, everyone is
Yeah.
irredeemable. There's no redeeming
No,
character in
I
this.
think he was a bit dopey.
No, he's a prick.
Diana is just like you just say, "Oh, just fuck off."
Yeah, everyone. Well, no, I think with the exception of Tom's son.
Oh, yeah,
He was
all right.
nasty as well at one point, wasn't
Was
he?
he? What was he nasty? On?
So there was the bit where
That scene.
I think actually that's one of my favourite scenes in it. Yeah. So there was the bit. Tom's son and daughter-in-law turn up and bump into Diana, and she says, "Oh, I think he's at somewhere." They go to a community centre to find him, and then they see that he's on the floor talking to a guru they believe her to be, with lots of other elderly people. And then Diana then walks away into the distance, and Tom's daughter-in-law is sat down at this point, and Tom turns around to her and says something like,
What's up, Jeffy?
Marianne,
Yes, Jeffy.
I think I hate you.
I don't think that was a line in the sitcom. That was just the camera was rolling. It's just like past the thing.
"Yeah,
But
we'll leave
she
it in."
starts,
But it feels like there must have been a
crying.
scene before that it was cut out, so that there's no context for that. It's like,
Yeah.
and then he walks off, and it cuts to another scene, and it's not even what.
It was just weird. The whole thing was just very disjointed. I mean,
Yeah. So I'm just reading the synopsis of the other episodes on the back of the fucking DVD.
I think we all
bought.
enjoyed that scene because that man at that moment was like kind of like a cipher for the audience there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Please
Yeah,
lay
we
into
do,
someone.
Yeah, we
on
do
this.
hate you.
Well, I'm jumping ahead here to like episode 10 of this series, and it says that the son actually leaves his wife. So perhaps the running theme or running joke is that they bicker,
yeah.
and yeah, they hate each
Well,
other.
she did seem a little bit horrible when she turned up. She was like, "Oh, just sit down. What are you talking about? Why are you here? Going to
Yeah.
catch something from all these oldies."
Yeah.
What was the synopsis for what was the actual synopsis for the episode?
For this episode, good question. Loathsome Bayview manager Harvey's attempts to cut costs even further leads to chaos and a fracas or fracas on the croquet or croquette lawn.
Crickets, like little potato.
Lawn,
Potato
lawn.
based.
Or lawn, yeah.
Lavan.
Did any
Right,
of that
this-
happen?
Yeah, just bear in mind, everyone, that we chose this on the basis that there will be a fracas on the croquet lawn at
Yeah.
some point.
And we gave up on what was the other one we gave up on that looked quite good?
Well, there was barely any.
Well, no, there's a couple of good words in this. Oh, the erector partition. There could have been like cheeky jokes in that.
Even the
Yeah, I doubt it.
glamorous granny would have been a
Yeah.
good one.
Could have done episode 7. Yeah, there was. So yeah, you guys want to cover the fracas on the croquette Lawan?
All right, so that's obviously jumping to the end, but we chose this episode, like I said, on the basis that there'll be at some point some kind of fracas on the croquet lawn, which subsequently turned out happened off screen.
Yeah.
So we didn't even get that.
Well, it happened off screen, and it seemed to happen like, I mean, there are 3 sort of themes to this episode. One of them was like the old guy wanted to do a lot of exercise, and he was getting like reinvigorated with life, and the woman Diana was like, "Don't bother." There was this old folks' home is hiring a lot of. Did they say illegal workers? Was he
Yes.
like actively encouraging? I know it was like foreign workers, but did he ever say like I want illegal workers?
So this is the point I decided not to make any more notes because he used the phrase illegal immigrants, and then he continued to talk negatively. It angered me.
No,
So-
he was quite positive about the.
he was upbeat about it. Yeah,
The thing is,
sure.
like, I kind of fudged it because he was really pleased about it because he's been cutting costs by
Yeah.
getting illegal immigrants, and then this pretty loathsome character, the woman, said that's completely immoral.
Yeah.
Which is, but then she's like the worst of all.
Yeah,
worst
she's
as
terrible.
Well. It's just
So yeah, it covered
Not even comically terrible.
illegal workers and labour, and then it got quite deep into like a little chat about like the doctor telling him about like ageism, and it was almost like it wasn't almost like a comedy show at that point. It was just like a TED talk or something. Like,
we really are jumping all over the place, and that is because it's so.
it was very
It's.
disjointed. So show it. I don't know. Where do
I never thought I'd feel this way back in episode 2 or whatever it was, but I'm angrier now than I was after watching the British Empire.
Yeah,
British Empire was sort of disorientated and confused.
but it looked like it had potential. But
Well-
I don't understand how this has run for as long as it has. It must have had great episodes, and we must have picked a terrible one again. But I don't know what this. Well, I don't know what's just happened for the past 30
I mean,
minutes.
those 3 things,
Yeah.
if you put them correctly, they could be quite funny. Like, I mean, old people exercising, always a laugh. But
Yeah.
if you'd have like gone somewhere with it, like he kind of did it, and then she was just like, well, "What are you doing?" And then he was kind of like, "Well, I'm still going to do it." And it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then you've got the illegal workers and like the labour, even not these sort of illegal, like the foreign workers, like the scene in a restaurant with the waiter. It kind of looks, it's kind of a bit like Manuel, sort of 40 Towers.
I thought
like
that
him
when
sort of
he
like
turned up.
even had a big moustache, and it was like, but then they just picked some really shit way of doing it. Him getting trout confused with rabbit. I mean, that's not even a similar sounding dish that he was getting confused about. And it was just like her
Well, sounds like you're,
kept saying trout over and over again. He was saying trout, rabbit, trout, rabbit. And it's like, where are you going with that?
I guess that could have been the joke of the week in that there was
Yeah.
the classic comedy rule of 3, like the trout rabbit, the trout rabbit, and then the woman walked over. The woman, I think that she plays Deaton's wife in One Foot in the Grave. She walks over to do the translating of saying not fish, and she mimes a fish. Sorry, fish, not rabbit, and then she mimes a rabbit. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I get it." Then he walks away, and just before he exits, he shouts, "Oh,
into the kitchen.
one
into the
rabbit.
kitchen, yeah, one rabbit, yeah." So,
And then the
yeah, I guess that could have been joke of the week for me.
And then it's the thing about the foreign workers are all having knife fights,
He brought like a
and the
yeah.
Korean chef tries to attack the owner with a meat cleaver,
Yep.
and apparently succeeds. Like, and he just leaves everything going like, "Not the face, not the face."
Yeah,
It's not funny.
but then later he's just wrapped with the head bandage on a sling. I mean, like if you're going to be attacked with a meat cleaver,
Like,
that's not
I
happening.
mean,
That's going to be lacerations, not going to have like a
Yeah,
broken sort of bone.
You'd be-
I
Maybe-
imagine it was self-administered. It wasn't self-administered, like just.
Possibly, yeah. It's pretty dark, but that's fine.
you wouldn't just get like that type of bandage. I'm not like a professional, but you would not get that type of bandage had you had like heavy lacerations from a meat cleaver.
The thing from that is, they're kind of almost thinking that it's going to be funny that he's been attacked with a knife. Like, I can see there being like, I just can't see where the comedy's coming from it.
I think what you're trying to say, Chris, is that knife crime is never funny.
No, it's not.
Never.
Okay.
That's a serious point. But
I just think that, personally speaking, it's a perfect storm in that, I hate things where old people are getting up to scrapes and japes and stuff. I really hate that.
Really?
I hate was it Last of the Summer Wine?
Oh.
I hate that so much.
Oh wow. Okay.
Anything with old people and Dad, it was all right because they weren't getting up to scrapes, were they? Dad was sort of bumbling around and stuff. It wasn't knowingly. He wasn't knowing in a knowing way, bumbling around. It's being Dad. He wasn't It wasn't doing calisthenics on the lawn. He wasn't running around in a funny outfit. He wasn't doing.
He let his son wear the funny outfit and Dad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. He wasn't playing with dumbbells in a funny way in the bedroom. Rubbish. He could have been so much. That scene, it had sort of potential of him like doing physical comedy with those dumbbells, those comically small dumbbells, and he really over-egged it, like his facial expressions and everything, and it's rubbish. I really didn't like it.
If it was something like he just keeps damaging the house or something like that, like through his exercise, he's like knocking holes in the floor by dropping the dumbbells or something like that. Just some sort of payoff. That she can't stand him doing the exercise because he keeps breaking things, or every time he does exercise he knocks a vase over or something like that. Just something. Because like even the bit where he sort of like he was jogging at the start, and then he like collapses on her. The doctor sort of puts him in bed. He goes, "Oh, he's all right," and then like 10 seconds later he's out of bed with dumbbells. It's not like he's actually.
I think that got the biggest laugh for me because the doctor sort of finishes administering to him. And then said, "Well, that's that then." And then the man in bed said, "Okay, bye." And they stood there for about another 2 minutes. It was fantastic. And then she said, "Oh, good night then." Broad daylight. All the curtains open. I think the main problem with this, there was no one the audience could kind of root for or connect to. Like there was no. Who are you supposed to root for in this sitcom? Who are you supposed to identify with? Because like the main kind of character, the lady, none of us know her name because we don't care. But the main character, the lady, she's like cynical and like quite nihilistic about her worldview. She's not particularly interested in living to an old age. She wants to die. But then she's just horrible to everybody else. Like there's that kind of well-meaning, a bit sort of simple lady who works as like the nurse. She makes her cry in the opening episode by telling her that she's going to be replaced by illegal immigrants.
Yeah, she seems to like. She loves to just be horrible. She's like grumpy old lady, isn't she? But
just who's she nice to in this episode? But like, it's nothing. There's nothing redeeming about it at all.
No, you don't want her to win. You want her to like. You just hope God shows up for her.
The old man, I suppose he's supposed to be like a lovable, getting up to scrapes and doing silly things. It's just, but like I said, like he's supposed to be like this, the comedic, like the most broadly comedic element in it, I suppose. But then he just over eggs everything. Like it really grated on me, like the way he just the way he. Everything about his performance has annoyed me. Like the way he delivered lines,
the physical comedy.
It's a physical comedy. I hated it.
Okay.
The manager, he's hiring illegal immigrants. Rubbish.
Well, it's rubbish because he just had really shit reasons for hiring them. Like where
well,
at that point,
business reasons they were.
He had the business reasons that they were cheap, and then he starts coming out with some bollocks about they're shorter.
Oh yeah.
So they use less material on their uniforms, and then he starts saying like, "Oh, put a memo in that there's a height restriction for staff and stuff like that." And you're just thinking, what?
And I feel like they missed the trick on that joke there as well, because when they said they were shorter, that was the point in which she sort of slid over to the chair and sat down, and I thought, oh, that's a joke, but yeah,
there was no laugh from the audience.
Yeah, but
she didn't make enough of it.
Yeah, but what I noticed earlier on was that it was a lot of like, I could almost envision that the guy that had, or woman that's pressing the button for canned laughter spilt the coffee at that point on that button and was just sort of dabbing it up and just kept accidentally pressing that button at the start, because it was all over the place with the laughter. Chatting with Antonio at the beginning, I don't know what the jokes were.
It did just sort of cut back and forth, and
much like we're doing with this, but yeah, it's difficult.
Sort of characters.
Again, I think we have picked I think we have picked a bad episode in this, but
that's the fault of the box. I mean, the box says fracas on the croquet lawn, and that was off screen.
Badly sold.
And then at the end, he's packed all the illegal workers onto a bus, saying like, "Yeah, you're going on holiday," and then they drive off, and then he says, "No, I'm sending off to a boarding school somewhere
in Crawley." Yeah,
in Crawley. Like, that's you can just do that. Yeah.
I could have ended it there, and I can remember behaving badly, like this name of a provincial town. And
yeah.
And then the old geezer comes along and he's leading the rest of the retirement home in like some kind of like a military style march, and they sort of trample over the hotel owner.
Yeah,
and I hated that as well.
Bad slapstick.
Why did you hate that bit?
Because he was like being like an old people being jovial.
You hated it for happiness.
Yeah, It was. Oh, I just hated it.
Well, it's
Dad, George Cole knew his place.
Yeah.
All right, marching around.
Oh,
Well, they trampled him and they knocked him over like really gently. Like they've tried to do like slapstick in this, and they've just done it really badly.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but I was watching just as he fell over, but they properly barged into him with the shoulder. Like they went out their way to knock him down.
Yeah.
It-
Like, I mean, I guess there's some history there. Like he's obviously
Yeah.
not making their retirement stay
Pleasant.
as good as possible, but
Systematic abuse and that.
his arms in a sling and you're trampling him.
Not nice.
Poor guy.
Can you guys think of any other sitcom where the lead character or some of the other characters are hateable, but you like it?
Well, I mean, you got 40 Towers, haven't you? I mean, the
Oh, yeah.
guy who runs it,
Yeah.
he's
But
he
then
can
there's-
be seen as hateable because some of the
he
stuff he does
He's
is
completely
horrible, but
incompetent
you
and
do
horrible.
sort
But
of.
then, like, what's her name? Sybil is the
The straight person, I guess.
person the audience
Yeah.
identifies with.
Yeah. But even Basil sometimes, like the way he gets like so frustrated, he's not like nice to his guests, but you don't hate him.
Yeah, but I guess like there's the balance there.
Yeah.
You've got the hateable person, but there's someone like I guess like you said earlier, someone to root for.
Yeah.
No, but even the main character, I don't hate him.
Who?
Basil.
No, I'm not saying that. He's like
Why'd you
main
hate
source of the. Listen, I booked a room there.
One star.
No, but he's the main source of the comedy, and he's like out over the top, and he goes mental and all that.
Yeah.
But then, if Sybil was like that as well,
Oh yeah, no, I know.
that's what I'm saying. Like this, there's no in Waiting for God. There's no one to root for. If like the hotel manager or maybe that nurse or whatever, or even the old man,
Mrs. Deaton.
Deetsy, if one of them was like the Sybil character, we could kind of identify the straight person.
Oh yeah, no, there's no one to
There's
sort
no
of
one.
think, oh, okay,
Yeah,
I'm hoping they get a nice day.
everyone's just hateful.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see a bit more of that Antonio. Maybe he seemed quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor
I
Antonio.
think at the beginning when he threw his gloves on the ground and stormed off, that was him storming off set.
Why did they leave that in?
It's just gone.
I think he spoke for everyone when he threw his gloves to the floor. If I had some gloves, I would have thrown them to the ground and walked out as well. But I
it's
didn't,
just-
didn't bring with me.
And the line that the wife said when they went into the community centre and they were looking for Tom because they thought he was in some sort of cult or something like that, and they just looking through the windows and the wife's like going hand over her mouth and pretending to be like all sick, and they look in the window and they go like, oh, taxidermy, and then they find him in the room and they go, okay, they're probably all talking about sex, and then the husband goes to the wife, why is that then? She goes, what else is there to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay, what?
I think that just speaks to the problems that they're married, I suppose, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I guess so,
Without
yeah.
a bit more background, it's hard to say.
What the-
Sorry, go ahead.
Were there any jokes in this? Does anyone write it down, remember, or...
The only thing I wrote down as a quote was, "Oh, Marion's just bitten a Chinese man," and then it comes back and says, "Pause. He's Korean." That's all I wrote down, other than illegal immigrants. Like I said, I got quite angry with this one at the start. I just want to wonder, when they went to the community centre, they went to the taxidermy place first of all, and then what will you classify the next room as with the guru? Like, what room would that be?
I don't know what that was. That was just like they were just sitting on the floor. Was that the doctor coming in for like a visit to the old people centre?
I was writing fish puns down. I wasn't... When I looked up, they were speaking to that person, and I don't know who she was.
Because the point I'm getting to is, generally when you work in like a school or community centre of sorts, the building plan is like probably not alphabetised, but like it's some sort of system as to like the way it's all laid out. Like sort of certain lessons go together. Taxidermy and like old people. I suppose there is a correlation there actually. Yeah, forget
I
it.
think it was taxidermy, and the next one was just twats, and that's why.
It's alphabetical.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll move past that point then. Should we jump straight in with the game?
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah, go for it.
So, because I know you guys have put a lot of effort into this game, and my one I know is terrible this week, I'm going to suggest a slight change into the format, see if you guys agree.
Okay.
I'm going to start with my one.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the fact that I know it's wrong from both of you. And then can we have a head-to-head, because you both have quite a lot of fish-based puns.
Okay.
How do you feel about
go on
that?
then. Was it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like a tennis match where we sort of go back and forth.
Yeah. Then Mark can decide top one, get points based.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Works for me.
So what's the game, Mark?
So, yeah, we should introduce it first of all. So, Waiting for God. Waiting for COD. We were talking about fish-based puns for sitcoms. So you're going to change the title of any British sitcom, and you're going to put a fish in the title if you can. As always, if you want to play along at home, just chat these on our Facebook or Twitter with the hashtag #Sitcom. And yeah, play along with us, and you can win this DVD. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Waiting for God. So my one, I don't know what I'm going to because I remember it. Crabsolutely fabulous.
Yeah, I'll take that.
That's pretty good, actually.
Oh, all right. I didn't expect that. Thanks. Starring Joanna Lumley, who plays Patsy Stone. And you might be able to help me with this one because I didn't give this one much time. Jennifer Saunders plays, her real name's Adina Monsoon. Can you think of a fish-based pun for Adina Monsoon? Just to round my one up.
No.
No.
Again, there's that catchphrase.
Adina Monkfish, we'll leave it there. Right, yeah. So who wants to go first? I'm going to keep a score here. I'm going to take the pen lid off.
What's been the score? How many have you got there?
I've only got about 8.
8, all right. Do you want to pick your best 8?
It's about the same.
Okay, so we've got... you join us here with Jones versus Wood.
I've got 8, but there's one's kind of repeated.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine.
Won't hold it against you.
All
right.
So we've got Jones versus Wood in Waiting for COD right now, and who would like to start with the fish-based puns?
What if should we toss a coin?
Yeah, go on then.
What if we both have exactly the same ones?
Well, then that'll be a tie.
Draw.
To be draw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on, I'll let Age go first.
Has anyone got a
Age before
coin?
beauty.
Yeah. I have got.
It's fine. Oh right, go on in. All right, both in it. That's in his wallet.
All them coins in that wallet.
Was it 50p?
Yeah, why
It's
not?
10p.
Okay.
Right.
Orthodox.
You gonna call it?
Heads.
And
There's
it
way
is
too much build up.
Heads.
Heads. Ooh. Would you like to go first or second?
I'll go first. Here we go. Okay.
So am I the judge of
The
this?
umpire.
I think we're building this up way too much.
Too much,
Shit,
yeah,
might
too much.
actually
Yeah,
are.
he's like
Yeah.
dog shit.
Go for it, Jones.
Keeping chub appearances.
Keeping
Chub appearances. It's a fish. Go on.
yeah,
Oh,
very
dear.
good.
All right. Well, how's this? The eel of Dibley.
Eel, the eel of Dibley. It doesn't even work.
Of course it works. There's a fish in a title. When you say puns, I have literally just put a fish into a title of a sitcom.
Oh, we've got
Right.
7 more.
Anyway.
Only sharks and horses. No, that's not. Father Cod. Father Ted.
I'm not going to mark these. It's too good.
Okay, that's
Carry
good.
on, sorry.
Okay, well, this one is actually a fish. It's a red snapper. It's in like Red Dwarf. It's just red snapper.
You're just going to list fish.
I decided to not be obvious. I could have gone with red herring there, but red snapper. I thought was. That's more like a mockumentary.
Carp of the summer wine.
Yep.
Okay, mine's also carp based. Mine's 2.4 carp.
Okay, one of us trained more for this match than the other. Perch of a feather.
Good.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
These all sound like they work.
All right.
Go on, Wood.
40 tuners.
I like that. That's really nice.
Cod the dead donkey.
Yeah.
Or drop the dead cod key.
Okay.
I don't know.
Some mothers do have cod.
It ain't half cod, mum.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, I dream of Guppy.
Yes. Yes.
Wait, what's the real one?
It's an American one,
Okay,
but point
fine.
nonetheless.
Yeah.
Carpy being perched.
Okay.
Ooh, double.
Yeah.
Steptoe and sturgeon.
This is my last one. This is my finishing move. The Pikely lads.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, this is my shittest one. Are you being served? Fish.
Finish on a high.
Right, yeah. I think he's got that for that one. I thought I had him, but that is. There's a shake hands there across the net.
Well done,
Brilliant.
guys. We'll get a photo of that as well. But in answer to that, are we being so fish? The answer is no. It's rabbit, unfortunately, as we've learned today.
Yes.
Oh Christ, that was a. I hope we get to do a head-to-head like that again. That was fantastic. Are we completely bypassing joke of the week? Oh, Christ.
I was going to top that.
No, nothing.
Let's just draw a veil over this fucking garbage fire.
Garbage. All right, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I tell you.
I mean, it must have had an audience. It must have run for like five seasons. I mean,
what fucking idiots are watching this dog shit? For fuck's sake.
well, I mean, I don't know, 47 episodes. I mean, including 2 specials.
Again, I do think we've picked a bad episode.
And it's been BBC Worldwide, to entertain. It's been aired in ABC, so it's aired in the US as well. So, I mean, it's got its audience. I mean, maybe its audience isn't sort of 30-something men.
True.
Well, I don't know. This episode especially, it showed a lot of old British people being, antagonistic to foreigners who wanted them to leave, and I don't see why that would find an audience in the UK. All right, topical.
It's very topical.
Interesting thing, actually. I've just seen that the Waiting for God's theme music is from the middle of the 5th movement of Schubert's Trout Quintet. Just saying.
Is it really Trout Quintet?
It is. Yeah.
Let me see that.
This is meant to be.
It is as well.
And in this episode, she was asking for trout.
Yeah.
And got rabbit.
So, to be fair, the fish link was there always.
Wow. Much like Ken in the previous episode, with Ken turning up, we had trout the whole time. Oh man, that was good.
That is the new low, isn't it? I mean, that is worse than the British Empire for me.
I feel as though British Empire had potential, but I don't see where the potential is with this one in the type of humour.
Because at least we had something to talk about, because it wasn't like technically a sitcom of British Empire. There was no structure or anything. This was.
It didn't really have much of a structure either.
I think let's be positive about it, because we're trying not to lay into my no.
How?
How? Obviously no, flat out. I think that's his catchphrase.
That's his catchphrase. Yeah. That's step on his toes.
How? It ran for like 5 series or 4 series, whatever it was. So that's how we'll be positive. And again, I think we did pick a bad one. I don't want to ever go back to this. I would like to go back to the British Empire.
Yeah.
I think let's put a lid on this one.
Are you gonna try and get rid of that DVD then?
Yeah, definitely.
What, to a listener?
Yeah, if anyone wants to win this DVD,
Chris will sign it. Chris will sign it. Are you being served fish? His famous catchphrase.
Yeah.
Or is his famous catchphrase no?
no. Yeah, yeah. He'll scroll a big NO across their 2 faces on the front cover. We'll all sign it, and then you can win it. If you make the game, play the game that we just played, fish-based pun. And if you want to win it, say you want to win it. And we'll give it
wasn't even a pun, just put the word fish into the title.
It's pretty easy, yeah.
Yeah, try top of the ones we had today. Cool. So much like a portion of fish and chips, we're going to wrap this one up. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. Just search for Great British Sitcom, or send us a tweet on Twitter @British Sitcom, and follow us on Instagram @Great British Sitcom. Tell us some of your favourite sitcoms of the past using the hashtag Shitcom, and we'll dedicate future episodes to you. Share the podcast with family and friends as always. Join us next week for the last episode of this current series, where I'm hoping, we're not sure yet, I'm hoping we've got a super special treat for us, maybe you as well. So we will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.